Hey everyone, welcome back to CAD That Works. Today we're designing and 3D printing a custom dog food scooper using Onshape. I'll walk you through some core CAD tools like Revolve and Wrap, and we'll finish up with a functional print you can use every day. Okay, so let's jump right into it. We open up Onshape, go to Create, Document, we'll call it Doggo Cup underscore V1. Create your document and open up our workspace here. Okay, so let's talk about the basic plan. I'm basically going to create a dog scoop to hold 1 cup of dog food. It's going to kind of look like a coffee mug, if you will. But since we're doing 1 cup of dog food, I'm targeting a volume of about 14.44 cubic inches. So the way we're going to do this, I'm going to start with a side profile sketch of the scoop. I'm going to revolve it around the central axis to form the body. So first things first, go ahead and select sketch. Select your front plane there. Let's go ahead and orient it to the front plane. Select line. And then we're going to do construction. It's going to create that axis. It's not actually part of your solid model. So select that front plane line. Snap to that center. We'll just go ahead and dimension that. That's what Onshape likes. 2.5. And let's go ahead and start drawing our actual geometry. So we're just doing half of it because we are revolving it around this axis, and we're just doing a cross section. So let's snap there. We're going to draw a line out here. And you could dimension as you go through, or you could just wait till the end, which is what I'm going to do. Make sure everything's vertical. Snap there, snap down. Now I have a closed sketch. Let's go ahead and start dimensioning this. I want 1/4 inch wall thickness. Okay, I want my interior height to be about, let's say 3 inches. And using the simple volume formula, pi r squared times height of a cylinder. I know the height, and I know the volume, so I can solve for the r, which is the radius, and get the diameter. So that comes out about 2.475. And actually, show a little bit different way to do that there. So we're going to hit our dimension. We're going to select this line, and we're going to select that construction line there. Now, if I keep it over here like I did just a second ago, it's just going to give us a radius, which, again, we can work with, but I think it's a little cleaner. If you just drag your cursor to the other side, it gives you the diameter, which is better in my opinion. 2.475. Okay, so now we are ready to start the revolve. So we'll finish that sketch. There's our outline. And we'll go up to the revolve right here. And we're going to select sketch 1. Our revolve axis is that construction line we drew. And there we go. You've got a cup. You could actually use this if you wanted to, but we're going to make it look a little better. Let's go ahead and draft that angle. So I'm going to hit sketch. And again, there's a lot of ways to do this. This is just a simple way for me. Select that top face. Orient it to the top. Line command. Let's snap to that outer perimeter there. Left click, drag it out. Bring it across there. Snap it back. And we're going to do an arc to get this little section there. Let's do center point arc. Select your center. Snap to that line, drag it over, and there you go. Now we want that to be symmetrical about that kind of center plane there. So let's go do our symmetry command. Symmetric right there. Click. Select that point. Select that point. Select that center line, and you can see it adjusted a little bit. Handle thickness. Let's do 3/8, so it's 0.375. Let's make that 1.5. Handle length. Finish that sketch. Extrude. Select sketch number 2. We don't want it going up, we want it going down. So change that direction there. Let's do 1.5. Okay, so basic handle outline there. Let's go ahead and add a hole for the finger. sketch, select that face there. Get oriented to the front if you want. Circle, roughly in the center. So dimension that. Now I know this is 1.5 squares, so one cool thing you can do is just do the math right in there. So 1.5 divided by 2, want that right in the middle. There you go. You can do the same here, but I know that's 0.75 because it's pretty easy. Diameter of the circle, for my finger, let's say 1 inch. Finish that sketch, extrude. This time we're going to do remove. Sketch number 3, and it's on blind, which you could do, but it's going 1 inch. We don't need it to go 1 inch. So we're just going to do up to next, which is just going to extrude it up to the next face. There we go. We've got a hole. And let's clean that up, make that a little better. Let's add some fillets. Let's do that edge and that edge. Let's do 0.625. So that looks, yeah, it looks pretty good. Finish that. Let's add some more fillets to clean it up. Let's do a big one down there. Let's do, that's too big. There we go. Let's just do 0.75. Okay. Then we're going to add some little ones to smooth up those edges. Do not want it to be 0.75. Let's do 1/16 of an inch, so 0.0625. Do that. And just kind of grab all those edges there. Make it look nice and smooth. The bottom we're going to do a chamfer because, again, for 3D printing, I think it's going to look a little better with the finish if we do a chamfer. Okay, so you've got a cup, you got a handle. You could use this as is, but we're going to make it custom now. So we're going to use the wrap command. But first we need to create a plane. So right here, plane. Select your right plane. We're going to put our name of the dog and how much food's in there on the front surface. So right now it's, you want it on offset, and we want to drag it out. You want it past, you can see it past that surface. Doesn't matter exactly where for this application. So let's go ahead and we created a plane, and we're going to sketch on that plane. So I can select it over here or just do it in the model. Sketch plane, oriented to the right so we can see it. And now we're in sketch. We're going to use our text command here. So we're just going to drag a box over, and let's type in doggo. All right, that is too big for this cup. So hit D for dimension. Let's do 2.25. Let's see what 2.5 looks like. Yeah, okay. Onshape was nice enough to get us a little midline there. So we're still on dimension. So we're going to select that center plane line there. Let's make that 0 to center it. I want that text up a little higher. Yeah, right about there. That looks pretty good to me. Okay, so that sketch is done. So there we go, but still not on the cup. So what we're going to use is the wrap command. Now, another cool thing to teach about Onshape, or to learn, that is, you can see there's a whole bunch of commands up here. If you're not familiar with them, it can be hard to find, but you can just do search tools. We're going to type in wrap. And you can see it already found that. It highlighted it over there. So it's here. And you can just click here, or you can just go where it highlights. You can see it's got transform, wrap, decal. We're just doing wrap. Okay, now we don't want to wrap a surface. We want to wrap a solid, which basically means we want to extrude some actual geometry onto this cup. So we'll switch to solid. And if I wanted to make it stick out from the cup, I would do new or add, but we're going to do remove. And we're going to select right here, sketch region, sketch number 4, our target. The other nice thing about Onshape, you just hover over something, it kind of tells you what it really is. So it says select your cylindrical or conical face to wrap around. So that's easy enough. That's the cup. You got to click in there first. There we go. Oh, you can see I already did it. Okay, so thickness, that's how deep it's going to be. I think that's a little too deep. We're going to do 1/16 of an inch. And there we are. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for adding 1 cup text down there. Sketch number 5. Orient to the right. Text command. Drag the box. 1 cup. Okay. Let's make that smaller. Okay. Dimensioning, let's put that up 1/4 of an inch. And it's close, but it's not perfectly centered. So let's select that inline plane Onshape created for us. And let's set that to 0. Okay, finish that sketch. And we're going to do the wrap command again. It's here. Wrap. Go to solid. Remove. Select that sketch. Target is the cup surface. There we go. Okay, and let's go ahead and add that chamfer at the bottom I was talking about. So let's just go there. There you go. 16th chamfer. It's more for aesthetics than anything. Okay, so there we go. You got your dog's name, how much food's in there, and this cup is ready to go. So next, I will be exporting the STL file. So you just go down to part 1, right click, export. Let's name it Doggo Cup E1. Check the settings. Everything looks good. Export. Okay. So next I'll be opening up Prusa Slicer, and we'll go through how we're going to slice that and set it up for 3D printing. Okay, so we've opened up Prusa Slicer, and we're going to go ahead and import that file. Control I. There we go. Bring it in. Make sure it's on the plater. Looks good. I'm going to be using PETG, 0.2 millimeter layer thickness, which should be perfectly fine for this. Infill 15% should also be fine. Shouldn't be under a lot of stresses. Now for supports, I am going to do custom support enforcers only, because that it's just kind of how I like to do it. You could do support on build plate only. That will kind of automatically do it, but I just want it where I want it. So the way you do that, you go over here to paint on supports. I'm going to rotate that around, left click, kind of move it with my mouse, and it gives you a little cursor there. I'm just gonna paint that on. Okay, then we can just slice. All right, there we go. You can see the support material is going to be there. It's going to support that handle, and it's ready to go. So we're just going to export that G code. And the next step will be to 3D print this and test it. Okay, here's the finished scoop, and I gotta say it came out pretty clean looking. Let's go ahead and break that support material off. Looks decent underneath there, as can be expected for when you use support material. The PETG gives it a pretty nice glossy finish, and the whole thing just feels pretty solid in the hand. You can see the lettering looks pretty clear there. So, you know, the custom name and the custom volume gives a nice personal touch, and it actually feels pretty ergonomic, just holding it in the hand. So, and you know, because it's 3D printed, if I ever need to change the portion size or tweak the handle for better grip, I can just go back into the model and adjust it in minutes. That's really the power of designing with your own tools, and hopefully you're able to follow along within Onshape. So if you like this build, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you want to see next. And if you want to get this scoop for yourself, you can can 3D print it yourself. I have the link to printables in the description. And I also will have the link to the solid models. You can get an Onshape and you can just modify it if you don't want to recreate the whole thing yourself.